morning, everybody. Happy 4th of July weekend. We are live from the beautiful, beautiful Edge of Philly Sports Studios. I'm with my man, Mike Lauer. Good morning, Mike.
What's up, Pat?
What's going on? And Al, how you doing, sir?
Not too shabby, my friend. Knowing it's Sunday, it's just another weekend day for me right now, so that's a plus.
Yes, and gentlemen, I told you guys briefly in a chat, buckle up your pants because we're going to have a lot to talk about.
I think it was the other way around, but yeah, keep going.
But you know what? Gentlemen, do the complete opposite. Drop them. Matter of fact, treat this like a
Whoa. Time out. Coffee.
Oh.
Coffee rule. It's not. Look, it didn't hit the pat line yet.
I got a bigger cup, so the pat line gets a little deeper. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, that's what he said too. But anyway, listen, guys, the Phillies go off yesterday. Just when some people like myself had a little concerned about Friday's game with the offense, they answer the bell. They take the Nationals into the woodshed. Mackenzie Gore, their best strikeout pitcher, no problem. A cakewalk he turned out to be for this Phillies lineup because they were smashing the ball out the ballpark. Especially here comes the Baum. Alec Baum with not one but two home runs. Kyle scored with a grand slam. Big Stick Nick with a nice homer himself. Guys, take it away. What do you think about this Phillies offense and putting up 9 runs yesterday? Mike, I'll go to you.
19.
19. I'm sorry.
See, look, he's so happy. He's this morning.
No, he forgot to take his shoes off, so he can only get the 9.
You know, get the 9. Yeah. I mean, he's already in meat mode because he's probably going to go home and grill. He's probably got that.
Yes. That has to be your favorite holiday.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean,
good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody not named Elon Musk. Oh, I guess Twitter's at it again, huh?
Yeah, well.
But anyway.
Yes, let's get back to the meat market.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah. How do we do it?
Yes.
Anyway, but no, I want to see this a little more consistent. I think what we saw yesterday is what
what's up, G?
What's up, G? What we saw yesterday, I think, is what this Phillies offense can do. You kind of got to take it into a grain of salt, too. It is the Nationals.
Yes.
Well, I agree with you. Like, yeah, you have to look at it. But that's what good teams do. It's the old saying. Right. They beat up on bad teams. But today will be more of a telltale for me.
Yes.
Are they going to get cold again? Because they were cold on Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to keep grading each game like that. Go for the series win. That's what you want. It's hard to sweep any team. I don't care how good or bad they are. It really is hard to sweep. I mean, sweeping Chicago, they're not the worst team. They're not the best team, but they're not the worst team.
Let me ask you guys, and you guys bring it up, and I got to, did you think they, again, like you said, the middle of the pack team, but did you feel like they caught the Cubs off guard having that long trip back from London? You think they had a little fatigue in their game, in their steps, so the Phillies took a full advantage of it?
Maybe one game.
You could say the opening game, but by then,
they should be back.
They should be back in the routine because they had a day off too. And yes, I understand they came from across the pond, but they're coming from across the pond. It's probably like a 9-hour flight, Pat.
Right.
Because you figure East Coast to over there is 7, so you add another 2.5 hours. So you're looking at maybe a 10-hour flight. So those guys were home resting too.
They gave them a day before, and they say,
dude, they were in the air while the Phillies were playing.
Yeah, they take jet lags like 2 days later usually, but okay, that would be game 1.
Right. After that, they should be.
What about game 2? What about game 3? They got beat.
They got beat, and I'm happy too because we kind of owed them from a year ago. So if you remember, we got caught coming out of the All-Star break. They swept us, and then they swept us again at the end of the year.
We all thought like, oh, it was a fluke. Here they go. They're going to go in a downward spot. We all thought that. Right. Now that All-Star break last year and getting swept, we're just like, ugh.
Well, like I said, when I'm watching yesterday's game, initially when I'm watching, here goes Dominic Smith with the opener homer, and I'm like, oh, here we go, another long day at the office. I'm just thinking your typical rivalry game. I'm thinking, okay, this may be a trap series, but no, no, you have to let the game.
On that.
Yeah, you have to let the game play it out. And like I said, the Phillies
who's going today? Is that Suarez going?
Yeah. Ranger Suarez.
I'll tell you what,
going against Trevor Williams, and the good part is Trevor Williams is like 12th in the league, giving up home runs.
Well, listen, we can't.
You can't
stop. Yeah, you got to stop.
Every time people say that,
Yeah, they
look like freaking Cy Young.
Yeah, exactly. And
Sandy Koufax, everybody.
Here we go. If he's left-handed, the next Roger Clemens, But I'm looking at this. The two hottest pitchers that the Phillies have had really over this stretch has been Ranger and Walker. So I'm feeling kind of good that Ranger's going today to close out the series. So, but I'm like with you, Al, with the bats. Okay, that's great. You put up 19 yesterday. Now let's see you put up.
Hopefully they didn't blow the proverbial load.
Right. I'd like to see him put up another 7 or 8 today.
But anyway,
I think somebody already just clean up an aisle pack. No, I mean, like that's my thing. Is like everybody. I think I heard this about 300 times yesterday. Could they take a couple of those runs and get them in on Friday night? Because if you take 2 runs and you win Friday and you're still up 17-4.
Yeah, but I mean, we should be happy though because again,
you should be happy.
Yeah, because listen, the Nats, just came off that West Coast swing, and some reason this NL East is really good against that NL West. I mean, they come off. I mean, beating the Padres and the Mariners. I know the Mariners in the NL West, but still on the West Coast. Our division does pretty good. So, the Nats have a little momentum. They take, again, they won on Friday by a nose hair. And then, man, the Phillies, like I said, it was a wake-up call for them. And they just, took liberties on them. And like I said, 19 runs. Again, Harper getting on, had 2 hits. He had a double. I mean, playing small ball, and I'm fine with it. And, like I said, Nick Castellanos, everyone had a hit yesterday, which is really, really good to see. Trey Turner had doubles.
The stat lines. When the stat line's this long, you have to take a page to read through it. It's a good day for your team.
I'll tell you what. You know what I'm noticing too? Is it me or does it look like that Castellanos and Harper have kind of reversed roles from a year ago?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm fine with that because he's coming off of that injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the more we get closer to the All-Star break, I think the more healthier he's probably going to feel. But.
Dives. I think Mr. Crockpot needs an IG account.
Yes,
I think his time's right.
Yes, Mr. Dives, go do that, please.
Phillies are good against bad teams that suck.
That's not true.
Hey, I'm gonna disagree with that, but I mean they do well. I mean Arizona is one of the top 3 teams and
they're
top
500
3 teams in the NL, and they just 3 out of 4, which is not an easy feat.
Yeah, I think they're tied with the season series.
I mean, they do well. They don't do well against the Braves. That's a divisional thing.
Well, no, actually, no, they do. I mean, if you look at the season series between the Braves and Phillies over the last 3-4 years, it's one team or another wins by one.
Except for last year. I mean,
last year
in the playoffs. I mean,
well, yeah,
they did much better.
But when you're coming in, it always seemed like the base knock went the Braves' way. But if you look at the season series wise, the Phillies are right there. The only team in the division the Phillies have had their troubles against has been the Mets.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they've been 500 or
around
better.
that, yeah.
So I mean,
they had the tiebreaker on a lot of the good teams last year, San Diego and all them. They had it on there for the season.
There's 2 teams in the NL. I think I see the Phillies always struggling with, and it was the Mets and it's the Giants. For some odd reason, San Francisco, we can't get out of their way. Mm-hmm. They find ways to win.
Yeah.
But everybody else,
like Arizona's been with us, home or away, they're always they got us. Especially in San Fran.
Yeah. Yeah, especially San Francisco, man. Like I said, that's like you were talking about checklist, Al. That's going to be a checklist they're going to have to try to beat. Because I mean, if you take a look at it, boom.
Yeah, hey, we're going to get into this shortly. It's a bit of a head scratcher. I don't understand myself, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. But like I said, I just want to go back to yesterday's game. And like I said, I was really, really happy. Again, you put up 19 runs, regardless whether it's a bad opponent or not. Again, Mackenzie Gore being their top strikeout, pitcher, and they took him for a cakewalk. It's, saying a lot. So to me, like I said, and Alec Bohm.
He was in the Soto trade, right?
Yeah. And then again, like I said, Alec Bohm kind of was having he was having being a consistent hitter, but he really stepped up in this series, and he really, really performed well. So, I mean, you have to give him his due. I mean, like I said, 2 home runs, and then he starts a single RBI to start the game. I mean, he was really, really on fire yesterday.
Yeah, but Bohm will do that. Bohm will have a game like that, and then
4 for 5.
Yeah, he'll have a game like this, and then like he'll kind of like it'll have a trickle down effect to where it goes back to like I don't know.
He gets a little mellow out, but
he'll mellow out, but then he'll get hot again. Like
Yeah.
he's pretty kind of even keel with him. The guy who I thought really who's just been Mr. Everything as far as hitting wise for the Phillies has been Castellanos.
Oh yeah, Big Stick Nick. I mean, 3 for 4,
3 for 4,
3 RBIs. I mean, he's been
and his power's starting to come around.
And
I mean,
and then yesterday's game, I mean, I'm hoping this is a little turnaround for a guy like Alec Boehm. He's been struggling. You could see he is a guy who does not know how to hide his feelings and his emotions.
Yes.
Like this guy should never play poker professionally. He'll lose every time.
Yes.
But you know, a 3 for or 4 for 5 kind of day with 2 2-run jacks. I mean,
6 RBIs.
yeah, you can't.
Did he just retake the lead from Castellanos now? Because Castellanos went ahead of him.
Right.
So
I mean, like I said, again,
let them keep doing that. They play back and forth and try to one up each other.
Listen, let me ask
Go
you a
right
question.
ahead.
Do you think Boehm is an all-star?
At third base or first base?
Yeah.
I think just on the team. Do you think
on
he'd
our
make it?
like
I mean, because if you're talking about Castellanos being a shoo-in, then you got to put Boehm in there as well.
the only reason I would say Nick is got the upper side on it. Not the only reason, but one of the bigger reasons.
He wasn't hurt.
He wasn't even
and
hurt.
he's been
And
consistent.
he's the most consistent guy. Like, I mean, he might go a game or two at most where he's 0 for something. There's guys like Boehm who've gone series and a half. You know, that's my thing. Is that's why if you want all-star, if you want all-star voting 100% based on stats and all that kind of stuff, Nick's a shoo-in. It's because it's a
I hope he makes it. I think he deserves. I think Kimbrel deserves to be.
well.
on the
There's going to be
All-Star
one.
Yeah.
There's only going to be one. There's going to be one Philly representative. So I think it'll be Nick.
Yeah, I mean,
team. Really, you don't think Harper's going to go, huh?
I think Harper missed out.
and it's
He
funny
really missed
because
out.
he's like advertised. You know what I mean? Hey, go vote for Harden. Like, I'm voting for Castellanos. If I'm going to vote for anyone who deserves it.
I went through this with Joe on Wednesday night. I mean,
Yeah,
I said, listen, man,
it's a popularity contest.
it is what it is, and that's the problem. Like I just said, if it goes by pure stats, all-star games would look different. And a lot of guys who we love and you talk about and compare other players to would miss out on it.
I don't think Harper is deserving of an All-Star.
I don't think Harper
No.
thinks so either.
No,
Harper's
and
not the kind of guy. And you know what? I honestly, and here's this is going to sound crazy, but in all honesty, I hope none of our guys go. I mean, I know somebody goes.
Yeah, you
I
gotta have
keep them
one.
hungry.
I would prefer none of them to go, and a couple things happen. It sits in their crawl, and they go, you know, I want to be there. I should have been there. I let my team down. I let myself down, and go home and rest. Go home and rest.
This is a little bit of a hot take right here from Joe Sullivan. He says Boehm was good yesterday. In general, I'm sick of him though. He's mediocre at best. They could use upgrade at that position. I don't know about that.
I don't want to say mediocre, but lately, fine. I'll give you lately mediocre. But
Still young.
And that's the other thing. Like you could fetch a good, a good little group of prospects or a decent player like another arm or something for Alec Boehm. So if you can fetch that for him, then he's got to be worth more than mediocre.
Yeah, and look, he went again from yesterday to the beginning. Sliding the other two.
The other two.
What's up, Incendio? Yeah,
Is Pat's head so big? Is the other two, or just because you can hear my voice?
Oh, hello. But
the voice of God you're hearing is Al.
Yes.
And Pat, you already know.
Yeah, hello. I'm a good time. But anyway,
This is God. Stop playing with yourself.
with your other hand.
Yeah. Hands above the table, Patrick.
Oh boy, this show just went to the left.
Woohoo! But anyway, here goes my man, Muffler Mike, aggression to the fourth wing.
4 wings, 2-1 goal for the U.S.
Wing players. Muffler Mike, no, what's called? I was going to ask if Mitch Jones got involved on that, but I'm not too sure. He won the bronze. But yeah, listen, go back to the Phillies conversation. I think, though, with Alec Boehm, though, I mean, I don't know if you could call him mediocre. I mean, beginning last year, he pretty much said, I effing hate this place. And then he upgraded to, anybody right now, anybody who's looking to make a playoff run would take him tomorrow. And He's been one of your most consistent players, and like you said, Mike, he's a growing piece. You don't want that to go. Um, he's been to me, he's been fairly well. Whether you put him at third or first, he's playing both positions right now. He's
But
taking.
you know what though? I see Joe's point though with that. I do, and because if you're rooting, we all watch and root for this team, obviously, but he can make you frustrating at times, especially when he
Sure,
plays.
guy in a Phillies uniform that hasn't frustrated me yet.
Right, exactly. But what I'm saying is,
Or a man in a uniform.
Sorry, again. Different kind of frustration, Patrick. Different kind of frustration.
Al, next week we are bringing a shot collar.
Yeah.
Every time he gets out of line, we're pressing the button.
Oh God!
I swear he will have Tourette's by the end of the show.
I was going to say, by halfway through the show, he'll have a permanent twitch.
Yeah, probably, and it would probably be better for ratings.
Yeah,
but I see Joe's point, because being a fan of the team, you can get frustrated with him. You know what I mean? And sometimes he does make mistakes. Again, none of us walk on water. But like I said, I see Joe's point. I wouldn't get rid of him, but I see where Joe's coming from with that. Because yes, there are definitely better players. So
yeah, but big time contract players. Like that's my thing. Is like you can't have a superstar at every position because we couldn't afford it. And we all see how that plays out. I mean, how many deleted?
And then again, look, when Harper went down last year, who stepped up their game? He did. Again, if you look for consistent bats on this team, again, Castellanos, Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm is one of those guys. Brandon Marsh, you look towards.
Captain Caveman. Love him.
Yeah, I mean, he's
in my eyes, people don't get on him maybe because they don't expect as much out of him. But Brandon Marsh, I mean, when he's been hot a lot lately.
Yeah,
he's been cold. He's been
cold. Oh, yeah, he's a guy of degrees. Like when he's going, he's going.
I mean, if anybody's frustrating, that man could definitely be higher on the list.
And how about Pache too? And how about listen,
I still haven't figured him out yet.
You haven't, but I will say this: since he's got to the Phillies organization, they have work. You could see the work that's been put in with him, because he's actually starting to hit the ball now. Like,
I mean, he was a top tier prospect at one point.
Yeah, but he could never hit. Like, no, that's why the Braves got rid of him, and that's why the A's let him walk. They're like, all right, dude, like, listen, you want to get, all right, bye. But I think you got to give what was it, Kevin Long? You got to give him credit, man.
So,
people were actually kind of wondering, like.
And then, like I said,
wondering about him a little bit.
You look at Pache, you look at Josh Harrison. Josh Harrison gets drilled in the back yesterday. They gets him on base. And then, like I said, he's been performing well. He had a double yesterday.
Listen, Josh Harrison is going to be a big part of the Phillies in the postseason. If they make it to the postseason.
I mean, that's the thing with him is he's been playing well for a guy who goes a long stints without playing at all.
Yes.
Right.
Josh Harrison is a guy, if you're going to equate him to something, Pat, you can equate him to he's the Phillies version of PJ Tucker.
Right.
He won't give you a whole lot during the regular season. He may give you a few starts, knocking a few runs. Come postseason time, though, that important bat off the bench, he's very, very valuable in that aspect.
Well, that's what they said. I'm glad they got some good utility players who come off the bench and fill some roles. And like you said, you may have to give this guy a breather, let him sit down. Like I said, you and I and Mike, you brought this up last week, and I thought about it. You look, at times you might want to sit down Kyle Schwarber and give him a little breathing time, because like you said, sometimes he's in back of the milk carton. We don't know where he's at. But
defensively though, he's just such a liability. Like, I thought the big thing about
man, how about yesterday?
What's the kid that they let walk? Dylan Guthrie?
Yeah.
Like, they let him walk. Like, I would have kept him around for a defensive replacement. I understand they needed the roster spot, but
Joe's back. I like to see more power from Bohm. He's not a bad player, but with his frame, he should be hitting 30 home runs. Yeah, and I think that's going to come. I can see that happening, and I can see what Joe's saying. At the same time, in baseball, frame to me is not always. Look at Trey Turner when for as well as a career he's had. I know this year hasn't been the greatest so far, but his career, I mean, for a guy his size, he can rake as well. I mean, like, it's. But I see what he says. And real quick, I remember, 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody has a great time. But hey, maybe you don't barbecue. Maybe you go to a Phillies game, and maybe you go to sherrystickets.com to get tickets for the said Phillies game, or many other ones, because there's a lot of important ones coming up. Today is going to be a very important game to win the series. Next week, you're going to be looking at Tampa Bay, which is important because they're the best team in Major League Baseball right now. So that's going to be a huge measuring stick. And then, of course, they keep pace with Miami into the All-Star break because they could get that second spot right before the All-Star break. So if everything breaks the right way and this team plays well, if you don't want to miss out on any of those local games, you go to, or even if you're away, you can go to sharestickets.com and get those tickets. Use that promo code EOP10. Save 10% off. Don't pay any hidden fees and have an amazing time. Go to sharestickets.com. Promo code EOP10.
Right, and getting back to the game yesterday, I mean, like I said, these guys were just driving the ball out of the ball field, and I got to give out. We're talking about the lineup and everyone performing. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Almendo Sosa, I mean, his defense at third is lights out. I mean, nothing really gets by him either. I mean, when those small balls are coming at him, I mean, or if that's about to go over his head, he's fearless with it. He'll make that play where you need him to come up and catch it, make a beeline to the first base, whatever. I mean, he's been performing really, really well. Like I said, the only thing that scratched me in the field is Kyle Schwarber because when the big play comes out there, he as of late he's been bobbling it. He's been going over his head. He's been dropping it, and he's been ugly out there. So,
I mean, do you think maybe they go and maybe do something? And I mean,
listen again. So he was never supposed to play this much defense. That was never
right. He was
this
whole
DH and Bryce Harper thing has been not to the plans. Okay, he was supposed to be in that DH role. Nick and him probably were going to be in left field, platooning for lack of better words, and the defensive end of things. And the other one would have been on the DH for the most part. And I think it would have been more Schwarber than anybody. I think that has been forgotten.
So
and Castellanos is the only one who's really stepped up from a defensive standpoint.
Let me ask you a question. With how with how they're going, can you maybe see them putting Bryce in left field? And then
I think if anything, Bryce does not get in any position where he has to throw across the field like that.
Dave Arnold checking in, says morning fellas. Oh, happy birthday, Faith.
Happy birthday,
12,
Faith.
Man.
12, Jesus.
Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook. Happy birthday. I think she's taller than you now, Dave. Sorry, I had to take my
Yeah. Happy birthday, Faith.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Get a gun, Dave.
I hope she slugs suplex him. No. But anyway, here we go, though. I mean, again, like I said, my father texted me because he's obviously watching the program. He said, I would love to have Paul Goldschmidt in for Schwarber. He might have to pump his brake for that. I mean, I get it that Paul Goldschmidt is a hot commodity name right now, but I don't know if I'm willing to give him up for Kyle Schwarber.
But I like this one right here that Joe says. He said, if Bryce plays first, what do you guys think about McCutchen playing in left field? That I think would be, and I think they could get McCutchen pretty cheap.
Bring McCutchen back here?
Yeah, bring him back. I mean, he's good.
You can get him on, and he's only on a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Joe Sheeran posted this earlier in the week on EOP's social media and got a lot of
mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews, like a more 50-50, I don't know, 60-40, whatever. On, I kind of probably sway towards the no. I mean, you could get him a lot cheaper if you're looking to, if it's the purse strings that become an issue. So I can see where that's possible. He's having a decent year this year. And if the Phillies do run it back, having a guy, a leader like him.
And he was here. He played with most of these guys.
He played with most of these guys, I think, except for Nicky
right.
Batts
That's what I'm saying.
Schwarber.
So I wouldn't mind that because then if Bryce is playing first base, you've got Bohm going back to his position at third. You put McCutchen in left. Now you got Schwarber being the DH. So now, and then you get to add McCutchen's bat into the lineup as well. McCutchen's having a solid year. So Joe's got a point. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing is I looked it up because I wanted to make sure. So Paul Goldschmidt, he is
I don't want
a year and a half left this year and next year on his. So if you take him, you're taking on an additional, his base salary is about $26 million. So you're taking that on too. So that's a year. So
yeah, but who are you giving up?
Yeah, he wants to give up Schwarber for Paul Goldschmidt.
I think for Goldschmidt you don't have to give up a lot because of that contract. The problem is, are you capturing yourself for a run that you don't even know you have yet?
Well, like I said, the Phillies are a game and a half out of a wild card spot. So, I mean, if you're going to go in, this is the time to go.
But I mean, here's the thing.
And he's 35.
Like you got to look at it too. Like,
that doesn't help.
He'll be 36 by the end of this season.
Right, he'll be 36 by the end of the season. Now you're talking about a 37-year-old first baseman.
38 by the end of next season.
But 37. If he's going to be 36.
No, what I'm saying, if he's going to be 36 this year.
Right.
But you're right, Dom.
Look 37.
Yeah.
But still, that's still like
I'm not that
you
smart.
still have.
Look over here.
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
I was looking at you when I said that.
He said Insenio says if the Phillies are going to be sellers, I'm sure you can have Paxton because this clown owner don't care about the team. He's talking about the Red Sox. I wouldn't mind getting Paxton. Paxton's not a bad. He meant buyers.
Yeah.
We got you, Paint. We got you. But there's a team that you can also look at. Like I feel like there's a lot of these middle of the road teams that you can look at where you can probably get good value. And I don't think they're going to trade Schwarber. They wouldn't have signed him to a 4. He got a 4. Him and Castellanos both got 4-year deals. So it's not like they're going to.
Again, here you go. I'm looking at his stats just for this year. I mean, he's batting at 289 right now. 46 ribbies.
Who are you looking at?
I'm looking at Paul Goldschmidt again. Like,
Okay.
I'm kind of on the fence with him. Like,
listen,
he would be an upgrade in the bat position. You could put him in first and move Bohm back to third, and then you have Sosa who could play other positions.
He could give Turner a break.
I don't know if he could play in a left field either. I don't know. There is. I mean, last year he batted 317. The year before that, he was a 294.
Yeah, but
he still got some pop.
Yeah, but he disappeared when it mattered. Do you guys not remember that playoff series?
I know.
Yeah.
He disappeared, man. Like,
but being on this team, could it upgrade him to have a
so we gotta stop thinking that we're some special. Like,
no, but I mean the hitting coach is here. I mean, look what they're doing to utility pitching.
Maybe.
I mean, batting.
Yeah, hitting coaches ain't gonna bring balls. I mean,
yeah, like I'm
in the.
I'm not sold on him. I'm not
sold on him either. I honestly don't know where I would.
Like, I don't. Like the Phillies would have to have another injury, like another major injury. Plus, I mean, we didn't even bring up Derek Hall.
They did, but they didn't bring him into the game.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm surprised, like in a game yesterday, you didn't see him.
Yeah, that's like really. It's another word. Like, is he maybe all the way really healthy?
If Harrison and Apache are having good years and they're like they're bench pieces, they're utility players. I mean, adding Paul Goldschmidt to this.
Listen,
with the hitting coaching,
I don't think adding Paul Goldschmidt from a veteran standpoint, a bat standpoint, isn't a bad idea. Its cost and what it would cost us to get him here may make things different. Like I said, that's $26 million or half of it or whatever, however it works out.
And you don't want him?
But next year you add another $26 million
no,
to this.
Tell me why.
I seen him in the most pressurized situation, and he failed. That dude failed. They had 2 games in their ballpark last year, and this Phillies team shut them down. Shut him and Arenado down. And I love knowing Arenado. I wanted the Phillies to go after him. Okay, because what I seen him do. But no, I watched Paul Goldschmidt
come up
small. And you know what? No offense, but there's also guys right now in this lineup that they go away and come back. You can't have that. You can't have a lineup where you're going to have half the lineup going away, and then the other half trying to pick up the.
Well, that's
piece.
And it's funny because the Cardinals are like 5th in the league in home runs, but yet they're the bottom of the worst division in MLB in the NL Central.
Well, that's like I said. That's one thing I do kind of like about this lineup because, like you were just saying, some guys, they'll show up for a series, and then next series, when one guy doesn't show up, the other guy does show up. Again, last series, Brandon Marsh showed up. He's been kind of so in this series, but Alec Bohm out of nowhere has just been lights out.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, he's a 36-year-old first baseman.
Right.
Like, for all intents and purposes, Rhys Hoskins is a younger version of Paul Goldschmidt. He is. So if you're going to do that, bring Rhys back.
Right.
He's younger. You know what I mean?
Can't bring Rhys back.
What's that?
Can't bring Rhys back.
Rhys is coming back. I'm telling you.
You're saying this year he's going to play for the Phillies?
I got a yeah.
Or do you think he's going to re-sign? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, both.
You think both? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm more would agree with you that I could see them re-signing him because he would be affordable. This injury could be a godsend for the Phillies.
I think they're going to sign him 2 years. I think he's going to sign a 2-year deal with the Phillies. But
I think it would have to be more than 2. If I'm Rhys, I think another team will offer him 3.
Well, gentlemen, I would love to keep the Phillies conversation going like mine, but it's time to shift gears a little bit. Some hockey talk. And
Oh, hockey, huh?
I love
Oh,
talking.
hockey, huh?
I love talking sticks and pucks. You know
Real
that.
quick before we talk sticks and pucks, let's talk about Philly sports trips. They were just out in that crazy Chicago series. They got to see a sweep. Don't miss out when they go out to Pittsburgh, July 28th to the 31st. Go to phillysportstrips.com. Guys, I've only said it 1,000 times.
I might be going to that. I might
Yeah,
be going
I might be heading out to this one too for a little bit, at least part of the trip.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's PNC Bank is amazing. No matter how good the Pirates are or bad the Pirates are doing that year, they always give the Phillies fits, and so it could be a good series nonetheless. But it's amazing trip. I say it all the time, guys. It's more than just a ticket and a flight and a hotel. It's an experience. It's a group of just really good people. It's become a cult almost because it's just the same people keep going back for more and more, and they can't get enough. It is amazing. Check out phillysportstrips.com. They have all the away games for the Eagles all set up. So, like I said, check out the trip, check out the parties that come along with it.
Jesus.
They are so
I'm so ready for that.
yeah, they're so they work almost any budget. It's just amazing. Check it out, phillysportstrips.com. Tell me OP sent you. And yes, Dives, to answer your question, the Flyers are relevant again.
Yes, guys. Yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I named the show "One Road, One Direction, One Diamond"
Because
because
he's a huge One Direction fan, guys.
yes, because
One Direction.
I love that band.
No,
I mean, I feel like the Phillies are back on the same, getting on the same road of getting us back to the postseason. And with the Flyers now, I feel like there's a direction, and I think that's why people, even Dives, are just saying they're relevant because of all the GMs that came here prior, and I thought about what you were saying too, Al. Like, okay, everyone looks at the Flyers regime of the ex-Flyers who came in here and put, as Mike says, put the Band-Aids on broken legs and really never got anything fixed other than hovering around an 8th seed of a playoff spot, and that's about it. And you're in and out. You have, but Mike, I mean, Al, you brought up a good point too the other night. They brought in.
That's all I do.
They bring in guys who are not, we're outside, no point intended, but we're outside the box, not Flyers. Chuck Fletcher, Dave Haxtell, and they really didn't have you weren't too shy in spots either. So, you bring in Danny Barrere, Keith Jones, who's run the front office here, and it's just been, to me, wow, because they showed you in the draft. They bring in, I can't pronounce his name. I'm not going to butcher it. Just like I said in the Flyers draft show with us and Matty B, I'm going to call him Double M. And Double M, with him, when them going drafting him, and they said
Mitchkov.
Matthew
Mitchkov.
I can't even say my own name right. So, but with them drafting him, they said, listen, this is going to be at least 3 to 4 year process. The time we get him over, he'll be somewhat developed.
Thanks, dear.
Hi, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, look through it. There's a lot of dirty pictures of Pat on there.
Hello. Leave out the Eagles thumb.
Yeah, immediately, it's Pat rolling around in mud. It's that dirty picture.
Yeah, it's a PennDOT Pig one. But anyway,
Jesus Christ.
But like I said, going back to the Flyers here, it's to me, like they said, they draft a kid who's not going to come here for another 3 years. They're telling you they're taking their time. The kid should be developed and ready to play. And I was listening to the Pass and Have guys yesterday. I was listening to Joe the Hammer Marks, and he said he heard that they're already comparing this kid to an early Alex Ovechkin. So, and if you heard it, all the experts are saying the second best player in the draft. And I don't know how he felt to our hands.
Yeah, I've been hearing Ovechkin. I've been hearing Evgeny Malkin, especially Malkin. I've been hearing a lot.
I'm going to get into that, Dives.
Yeah, I'm sure definitely going to get into that. But I've been hearing a lot of Evgeny Malkin, and if that's the case, hey man, I like it. And he said Cutter and Mitchkov. He goes on the same line. It's going to be must-see TV. Yeah.
Let the Dives bust out some Flyers knowledge.
Well, and that's the thing is like this was a perfect landing, and we talked about this on our draft post-game show. This was the perfect landing for
the Flyers gave a great smoke screen too.
Yeah, and you said Pat just said I don't know how they got him. It's very simple how they got him. Nobody wanted to wait 3 years for a guy.
Yes,
and the Flyers know they're at least a good solid 3 years away from being playoff relevant again.
Right, and that's again, and all their moves are and the kid Bonk, and
I love that. I love that signing, and he's a big kid. Like I know our boy Matty B kind of poo-pooed it on the draft special because he
Yeah.
had him going later. But okay, even looking at it going later, like being a second rounder, like wow, like this kid's got a pedigree. If your father played hockey, this kid's been around hockey his whole life. So I want it's
Most
like us.
Canadians been around hockey, but yeah, when your father's a pro
Right,
athlete,
it's like us Pat, being in the wrestling business. If our kids decide to follow in our footsteps, we're going to be able to teach them better than say Joe Blow, who opens a wrestling school, because we've been in the business. You know what I mean?
and right, and you're going to help them to succeed further than we
Right,
did.
and I think that was really good. And that's not the only that's not the only kid of an NHL player that the Flyers drafted. They also went and got Mike Knubel's kid too, which if he's anything like his old man, and from what I'm hearing, he's bigger. Actually, he's actually bigger. He's actually bigger than his old man, and plays a very physical style. Like to me, I thought the Flyers hit a home run on their draft.
Yeah, and then with these kind of drafts, especially like MLB, NHL, it's a solid 3 years before you can even make any judgment, and probably even longer for most of these guys, because even the first round picks don't start that year. Most. Connor Bednar might be the one who gets in there before anybody.
I don't know,
else.
but I'm sorry, but I know he looked really good, but I just have a really not good feeling about him. I
think it's all hype on paper.
I mean, listen, I may be wrong.
I mean, you'll definitely find out.
Like we're going to find out this year, but I just think maybe the hype might be a little more. I actually think, to be honest with you, I like was it Fantelli or Finelli?
Finelli,
yeah,
Fantelli.
yeah, Fantelli. Yeah, I like him. I think he's going to be a really, really good one. You know what I mean? He's playing at the University of Michigan now.
It's nice to see another Paisan in the hockey league. You know.
Hey, ow!
But yeah, I want to.
It's early in the morning.
Yes, it's 9:00 somewhere. But yeah, I want to kind of talk about this again. A lot of free agent moves are out there. Still, Patrick Kane, Bergeron, what's his name? Valtenko is still out there. Tarasenko, yeah, they're still out there. I mean, no one's picked them up.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, because they're
Tarasenko in a heartbeat.
Nope.
You don't want them?
Nope. I don't want any of these guys.
No,
I don't. I really don't. We are not there.
Doesn't matter. Like you can get a guy like Bergeron. Like, listen,
you're gonna tell me Bergeron just wants to go help young guys develop. That's what Bergeron wants.
Yeah,
Bergeron's good with that. He don't care about winning.
Listen, if he was worried about winning, he'd resign with Boston. Boston was the best team in the league this year. Granted, they didn't get to where they need to be, but
maybe he just wants a new change of scenery. He thinks he can do better somewhere else.
Maybe. I mean, that's still waiting to be seen. But I'm pretty sure if they put a contract in front of him,
I don't want a big name. I don't want to. I mean, if they want an old wily vet who's going to be there to work with the young guys, that's what we need. That's what we need. We don't
do you
need.
think
that would be Bergeron.
I mean,
you don't think that's going to be connecting?
I think. Listen, I think the Flyers organization is going to have to bring somebody in and make it worthwhile for you to want to come and sit in stands and pay for tickets and pay for beers that are $8 a pop
and parking that's $50 a pop.
Yeah, they're going to have to put a name on a jersey that you're going to want to, or a sweater that you're going to want to buy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, they're selling to you again the outdoor games against the Devils, but if they're tanking, what's the point? And
you'll still go. I go.
I would go to that game in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, I've done
Phillies sports trips. That's
yeah, I mean, odds for the good time. But I mean, like I said, if they could bring in an old name, all right, you kind of. But like I said, they're yeah.
Dives is on team out right now.
There you go. But yeah,
anything has to do with drafts and looking at draft and build through the draft, Dimes is all about it.
Yeah,
it just gives Dimes more opportunity.
Dimes is
to go in there and dissect.
Yeah, he does. He goes.
He's been talking about the 2024 NFL draft since the day after the 2023.
That party on Broad. Him, Freddie, Sean Bernard, those guys, they go into the laboratory and they go deep.
Rob gives it.
Rob. Oh my gosh, he takes out the fork, knife, and they get right.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of, they will be doing Sixers post game starting this week for all the summer league games.
Really?
To see all the youngsters. They're gonna get out.
I'll be tuning into that.
There you go.
So that'll be on our schedule once I release it later today.
That's awesome.
If I don't watch enough VOP action, it just gives me some more. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Lucic's going back to Boston. JVR's going to Boston. Patrick Brown is going to Boston.
And now here's a Boston fan saying Boston's not going to be a cup contender.
I agree with them. With the moves they made, I feel like they took a step back. Same thing I feel about the Panthers.
Team like them, it takes a step. Let's say they take a single step backwards. They're still the best team in the
Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean they wall up the rest of the
in regular season.
Yeah,
but they just listen. They called
out to a cup contender if you make the playoffs.
Right. They were just nowhere to be found. Playoff time.
Boston's kind of a city like us, and I guess that's why if you look at it, we kind of look at them like, yeah, we understand where you're coming from because they're on the other side of New York. They hate New York just as much as we do, and they had some suffering too. Like they've been winning a lot, but they went through some years of suffering as well. So
I mean, and yesterday, Flyers, Dane Barrera makes his first free agent signing again, bringing some names that are not going to blow you off the paper. But here goes. They're brought in Ryan Poehling. He's only 24 years old, 14 points in 53 games, 7 goals, 7 assists. He's 6'2", 196 pounds.
What was the key factor? What was the key stat you just said right there?
24 years old.
Yeah,
he's a puppy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they want.
Yes, and that's why
that's the only reason Carter Hart doesn't have to be moved right away.
Exactly,
because of his age.
I don't think they're moving him unless they get a king's ransom.
Why would you?
Right,
silly not to.
Right.
You know what you do? You can't move him.
It's a win-win for you.
You wait to the trade deadline when the team really wants to make a push, and maybe
it's a win-win.
Gets hurt or they're just not playing as well. Then you can get what you need.
Yeah, and he was originally drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, and I know we and I both know Danny Barrera has connections over there, so maybe this is some kid that he saw that he really really liked. Then you have Gunther Hathaway, Hunthaway, who spent the bulk of his season with the Cavs. And then he got traded to Boston, 9 goals, 7 assists. Again, another young puppy, only 27 years old. And then they got
it's going to be all young guys who maybe had little NHL experience.
Right, and then they got some kid out of something Gardner from the Dallas Stars AHL team, 10 goals, 30 assists. He's a good assist man. 6'3", 210 pounds.
That's a big boy.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. So
and here's the thing: here is the Flyers tipping their cap. We've seen a lot of big boys be either drafted or brought in, and I feel like the Flyers as an organization want like singular pathways. Like there's a fork in the road. They can go speed, they can go youth, or they can go big bruiser. And they only thought they could take one of those routes, but said, we set a couple down each pathway, and that's what they're doing. They're building from that blue line out.
And the common denominator with all the guys that he just picked up, they're all forwards. So again,
I'll tell you what. How about that Matteo man?
Yeah,
right. The
last
guy Flyers picked 6'8" on skates.
Yeah,
that's going to. He's going to be our Zdeno Chara,
right? So then you have hitting the free agent mark. No Cates, Morgan Frost, and Cam York. So I'm curious to know if the Flyers will resign any of those three. I would imagine so. I mean, especially Morgan Frost and Cam York. They had a really good year. And no Cates had an okay year too. So what pulses my mind. And speaking of Rob from Party on Broad, he actually brought light into my eyes with this one. Owen Tippett. Do you think he's going to be here for the long haul too?
I think he could definitely be.
I mean, he wasn't a bad player.
No, he turned it around a lot later. He was, for those who don't know, he was in the
Claude Giroux trade.
Yeah,
I mean, he's only 24 years old right now.
That was a Chuck Fletcher move.
Yeah, he's only 24 years old. I mean, he's definitely showing signs of he could be an everyday player, and you're going to need guys like that. He played a lot last year. Every game it looked like he got better. So I think he could be here for a long haul. It just depends on what our haul is going to be. Is our haul going to be 3 years? Is it going to be 5 years or more? Like that's where it comes in. And I know me and Mike went back and forth on this last week about is it he thinks it could be 3 years. I think 3 years is modest before they even sniff the playoffs.
The only reason I disagree with that is because they're going to be out from that cap hell. Once they get out from that cap hell, I think they're going to be okay. Once you get out from this purgatory, one part of purgatory is the cap. Once they get out from under that, which I think will be within a year or two, you know what I mean? Like I think by the start of next year.
I mean, technically, they're still paying 50% of
right.
But that's always Hayes' thing for 3 more years.
Yeah,
Hayes' contract.
But you got to take a look at it. It drops down every year.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to play devil's advocate with you guys
No.
because because you guys.
Stop playing with the devil's advocate.
Oh, look, I'll play with something. So, but listen,
Tiny Adventures.
but it's a Tiny Toon Adventures. But listen, to play.
Stop playing with your wascally rabbit.
We've seen this process before. So what if Double M looks good on paper, but it doesn't, kind of pan out? The thing I'm scared about is this: we've seen this process work with the Sixers. It's not really pan out the way
Did it work with the Sixers?
Not really.
Right.
Well, all right.
I mean, that's because
We're going to get that conversation. I know, but did it work? Kind of, yes, but did it fail because
it got you back to the same spot?
It's because they couldn't have Sam Hinkie anymore. They wouldn't. They have the wrong guy and they're making the wrong moves. That was it. They keep going.
Yeah, but so that's like the only thing I have withdrawn. I mean, I get it. It's going to be rebuild and it's a whole 3 or 4 year process, just like the Sixers who trust the process. I feel like this is a trust process 2.0. I'm just wondering,
is it all for naught?
It's all for nothing. You know what I mean?
Insanio, that's just somebody looking from the outside in. He says the Flyers will make the playoffs in the next 2 years.
Okay, Insanio, I want to ask you this question. Make the playoffs or actually be real cup contenders? Because let's be honest, in the NHL, making the playoffs isn't the end-all, be-all.
Well, it's been harder.
A little harder. I'll give you that. But
I'll say there'll be
I'm not talking sneaking in the last game.
I'll say they'll have around that 8 seed.
Okay, real quick, guys, before we get in, because this next conversation is going to get lengthy. You know it.
Oh.
David R. Cherry, man, he is there for you if you get hurt at work, in a car accident, personal injury,
take this number down.
Yeah, write this down real slowly, 610-565-0300, or simply type it on that smartphone of yours, cherryinjurylaw.com. Look up David R. Cherry. He has fought for the rights of many men and women out there in Philadelphia, Delaware County, all over the area in Pennsylvania. You name it, he's got you. Even Delaware, New Jersey. Check it out. David R. Cherry is the man, 610-565-0300.
Yeah, so like I said, that's the only thing about me going all in on this process. Because I've seen this show before, and like you just said, Mike, I don't know if it's going to be all for nothing.
The process. It's not the process.
It's not the process. I mean, you're looking at it as
why is it different?
You're asking me or Mike?
Yeah, I'm asking you now.
They are not. They didn't go out and straight up tank. Okay, they hit rock bottom after numerous times of trying to. If you look at the Sixers and I know we're going to compare them because I know Dives asked earlier, who's gonna win a championship first. I hope one of them at least win a championship in the next decade. But where the Sixers are at right now, they're trying to keep their head afloat. They have a big piece in Joel Embiid keeping their head afloat. They've made a lot of bad moves, signed a lot of bad contracts, and pushed their chips in so many times. They're lucky they have a chip and or a cherry. That's my goddamn mind. But the Flyers, they hit rock bottom. I said that before. They're only looking up. That's why they're interesting. The 2 times a team's interesting is when they're really good or rock bottom bad, because that's how it works. If you're mediocre, you're not fun, and nobody cares about you. Your hardcore fans do maybe, and they're watching. Oh well, the Flyers made it in the 8th seed, the 7th seed, maybe the 6th seed. I'm bonk, they're out. They got walloped in this round or the next round, and they're out. Just like the Sixers, people are tired of the Sixers. Why? They're making the playoffs, but they're doing the same damn thing over and over again, and they're getting bonked out in the second round.
It's Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, and that's my point. Is like that. What's worse? What makes you more interesting and more relevant is looking up, and you're not tanking. So I can't call this a process. It is a process. Everything's a process. All right. When you draft, your brand is a process. There's a process to your madness. But in this sense, the Sixers, they put a target on themselves. They went out there and said, "We're tanking. We come and play us because that's an automatic W for you almost because we want to be dead last." That's why lotteries became a thing because of this reason.
Right.
The Flyers are maybe not going to put top. They're not going to go out and buy top tier talent because they don't want to waste their money, sign big contracts because they're not ready yet. They're self-aware versus being self-tanking.
Right.
And you have people to counteract what you're saying there, Pat. The Flyers have people in charge who know what they're doing.
Right.
I don't remember ever believing in Sam Hinkie.
And Daryl Morey. I mean, here's
And
another guy.
Daryl Morey.
I mean,
Colangelo.
Oh, Colangelo, forget it. He's an idiot. I mean, he screwed us. He royally screwed us. That's a whole different conversation. But Sam Hinkie, I don't know if he would still be tanking right now. I don't know if there was ever an end to his process.
There was never, and then it was always just keep collecting assets.
And even the Sixers became a little annoyed with it, like, all right, well, we need to start moving forward because Joel Embiid's not going to get any younger. But then, you bring in Daryl Morey, who a lot of people are happy about. I think I was in the beginning. But I'm learning this man overvalues the wrong people. I'm really surprised that we're even having a conversation that James Harden's not going to be. I really don't think James Harden's out of here. I really don't. I mean,
I'm starting to follow that boat.
Unless there's a big trade. Dame ain't coming here in my eyes. If it happens, I'll be a happy camper.
And we're going to talk about that later.
But I'm telling you now, like, there is no direction, and this team's the Sixers' direction has been down. I don't see it going up. That's why I said to you, I think it was the other week or two ago, when somebody brought up, would you trade Joel Embiid? And I said, I don't know if I want to. I would have to come, but I think I would come to peace with it. I don't know.
Smart again. Not to go, switch gears here, but like Mike said, he said this back in February. I would trade him, and everyone here said, "No, you're crazy." Blah blah blah. And again, he played like a reigning MVP, but then he didn't show up in the playoffs. And it's like now that conversation's like, well, now you're talking about. But yeah, so to go back on this, I mean, again, Corner, the Hammer, and all, he's supposed to be the next Alex Ovechkin, and will Danny Briere?
I take comparisons to
no. So I mean, will the Flyers build around Metcalf when he's ready to come over? And that's going to be the big question for Danny Briere and Keith Jones. They're going to have an answer for that. And
it's not just going to be Metcalf too. You got but Gunther Cutter. You got him. You have a plethora of these young guys, or like the Frost. If they resign him, or Coates, and. So I think by that time they'll be seasoned enough to where they'll know how to start winning. Right. And if you keep a guy like Konechny on the team, you're just adding him into what kind of a culture that you're trying to set in. So I think he'll be able to fit into that because this dude wants to come and prove people wrong. Pat, remember, he knows he's probably 1A or 1B to Connor Bedard. And all these teams passed up on him except for the Flyers. The Flyers told him, look, if you're there at 7, we're taking you. So the Flyers were the only team in the NHL that really kind of showed faith in this kid. He's got a point to prove. He's coming with a chip on his shoulder. And he's not cocky. He's confident. I listened to his press conference between, listening to I was listening to it, and he was very confident. He's already said it. He's already said, listen, there hasn't been people in the NHL who can do what I do taking a shot. Like, apparently this kid's got some type of
swag.
Not swag, but he's just he's got like a special skill set. Like, this is why I don't understand. Like, and besides, they're talking about the KHL. Like, if the Flyers really, really wanted him, they can buy his contract out from the KHL.
And listen, the KHL is probably the third best league.
Third best league, and they can buy him out. Like, and this is
they're going to let him develop over there.
Yeah, and listen, it's the third best league, and listen, he's playing against all the top-notch Russian kids that are over there, and this kid's dominating over there. So I look good.
So let me ask you, Mike.
You do look good, Mike. I just want to point that out. You do look good.
Thank you. My wife dressed me this morning.
And undressed him. Oh,
I don't know about that. No,
he's not sure.
She'd be blind if
So, Mike, let me ask you, though. I mean, are you afraid that this could fall in his face like the Sixers process?
Yeah, listen,
or are you okay with
you gotta let it bloom.
What's in the front office?
You gotta let it bloom. You gotta let it bloom. Okay, we gave Sam Hinkie a chance to let it bloom. You got to let it bloom. You got to wait and see. Like Al said, it's probably 3 years down the road before we're even going to know about what they got in this draft. You know what I mean? But the Flyers are getting younger. This is what we wanted. Okay,
yes.
And
now the question is, have they gotten smarter?
Yes, I think they did. And right now,
an early report. It's like, listen, again, it's an early report. This draft looks really good. You got the second best player in a draft when you had a most likely generational talent in Connor Bedard. That means in any other draft, this guy would be number 1 overall in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? For the most part.
And the best thing I like it, okay, we're just mentioning about all the free agents and all the veteran free agents. as of now, the Flyers ain't rushing out to go, bring these guys in because they're sticking to their game. They're going, like Mike said, they're sticking to their game and going younger. They don't need to go out and get these, these old veteran guys.
You need to get one. You need to get somebody. You go get a name, bring them in. And this is why I say to you, Al, that Bergeron would be a perfect fit because this guy was the captain of the Bruins. He's been the captain of the Bruins for the last few years. So,
did you see the report? The
yes,
this is common, Gibes.
It's common, but I think it's a geopolitical thing that may hold him up for a year.
Yeah.
So that's why they're saying at least 3 years with him. But
he's on a 3-year contract with the KHL through 2026. But they can easily buy the contract out. Yes, the geopolitical stuff is definitely going to make it harder to get him within a year, maybe 2. But after those 2 years, and if that settles, then it's an easy buyout.
Yeah, that's why
it doesn't go against the cap. It doesn't do anything for the Flyers. They just got to buy out a Russian hockey league, which it's $12 on a hot dog probably. In the scheme of things. Don't get me wrong.
And if you take the real good Russian goaltender that we drafted, he'll be in training camp this year. He's actually going to be able to come over, and that kid is huge. Did you see him?
Yeah,
he's like 6'6", bro. He takes up the whole net.
Well, that's good. You literally got a brick wall in there.
Yeah,
and I'm glad.
And he's agile.
I'm glad Dobbs is like thinking. He's reading my brain again. Not hard. It's a quick read. Apparently, the 2024 NHL draft
is
defenseman prospects, which is really good for the Flyers. Yeah, because
the Flyers got 2 first-rounders so far.
Yeah, and I like I said, that's why again I kept pounding my chest. Carter Hart does not need to be moved. This is the key thing. And I think we talked about this in our NHL draft recap. I said we have the best of our advantage right now is time. It's time. Nobody expects this team to be relevant in the next couple of years. This means you can have young guys play. And actually, like I said, when your team, the only time your team's relevant is when you're really, really bad or you're really, really good. Okay. And we're really, really bad right now, but we're really young. And what's nice about that is I actually am excited to go to a hockey game and cover the games and watch the games to watch these young guys progress. That's what I'm looking for. Like,
Pat
I really
wants to go to throw hot dogs.
He's all about the hot dogs. Yeah. And like I said, now they have 2 first-round picks in the 2024 draft
so far.
And Carter Hart, if he gets moved, you can really get yourself up there early. God knows where they land too.
Right.
I mean, if they don't do well, they could definitely be top 5.
But that's Al. You nailed it earlier. Again, you hold the cards in your hand. You hold the future. Again, you come up to the trade deadline and you have that team really want to get into the playoffs, or that team that feels like they need a goaltender to get themselves over the hump. You got it.
Steve was right here.
If you need a sniper like connecting to get you over the hump, well, you got it. As long as you give me a ransom back, we'll talk. So again, this is Danny Pereira and Keith Jones really can't go wrong right now. And then
they can go wrong.
They could go wrong, but again,
man, you are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Hey, listen,
flip-flop.
Look. Why do you like?
Can we go to the dollar store and get like a small pair of flip-flops? Every time you flip-flop, we throw it at them.
Yeah. No, listen, again, you have to see things from my point, and I see X-Flyers, and look, I
agree. I don't disagree with people getting upset when they see all these X-Flyers.
Yeah, we were doing cartwheels naked.
Talking about, having, scars, mental scars from this Flyers regime. But our last regime wasn't Flyers. It's a different set of Flyers. We've talked about it before. It's a different set of Flyers. More younger, more to the times. They're not the Broad Street bullies who
they made their bones somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Hextall did too, but Hextall was kind of in.
Hextall's an ass. Let's just call it for what it is.
I mean, he is. I mean,
apparently he was like Chip Kelly-esque type general manager.
He was. But I mean, him aside, Fletcher was from outside the organization. And then everything before that, it was all Broad Street bullies. Like I said, if it would have been Bob the Hound Kelly being brought in as the general manager, I could agree with your point. But bringing Briere in when you knew this was coming, like once they named him assistant to Fletcher, you knew this was Briere's job, which I was happy about. Like I said, he did 6 years in Montreal and a year in Buffalo, working in their front office. So he paid his dues. Jonesy has connections throughout the hockey league from him being a broadcaster, a national broadcaster. I think there was more questions about Jonesy and his
Yeah, because
Well,
they take it at him being a funny guy on the radio.
Yeah, I think
and
a little bit falls into that too.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I was like, dude, but if you ever sit down and listen to him, which by the way, WIP does not talk hockey at all.
But when
And
they do, you hear him talk about it.
right,
I mean,
like,
he
right when you hear him talk hockey,
waxes
him and Al,
eloquently about it.
him and Al talking hockey when Al was still doing the morning show.
I'm
Like,
guys.
not
Yeah,
not
Al
the-
Morganti.
Al Morganti.
Yes.
When they were talking hockey, you would hear they would give you, and they could break it down. And a lot of people would act like I heard literally in the last 6 months or so, really since like the end of Angelo going off the air with Jonesy being on there, that he would like they were getting a lot of more Flyers questions because they were trying to lead into, and like you said, he knew about it, but they couldn't really say nothing. So, but he gave out great answers.
Yeah, and that's like I said, he's a smart dude, and like I said, Dane Barrere knows talent. Again, and just like I said, just on the outside looking in, you see the Flower sweater, and you just pound your head because of all the stuff from before. But Mike said, you gotta give these guys a chance. Let them give we and from last summer, right? You and I didn't want to give
Tortorella
a chance, and here he is.
I think he's probably been.
And even Keel dealing with the slop that he had, he should be coach of the year just dealing with that.
Yeah,
So,
and you know what? And I felt well. I came on here. I apologized. I said,
Yeah.
I said,
I
Coach,
apologize.
Coach, I apologize for not wanting you here because,
Yeah.
we didn't. And
Right.
he said we need a draft like 83, Derek Smith, Rick Tocchet, Pelly Eklund, Peter Zezel.
well,
Yeah.
guess what,
I take that,
Steve?
I'll take that too, bud.
Dude, I love Pelly Eklund and Zezel. Zezel was a great Flyer. It's a shame how he ended up.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, listen. Shift gears one more time to
Why?
one more team, and that is
Hold on 1 second before you shift
Yeah.
gears, guys. You're gonna shift the gear, and you need it. It's Sunday, but a lot of people are off tomorrow. You need a little Sunday fun day. I know. I go to Dolan's Bar. Go to DolansBar.com. Go to 24 East Sellers Avenue, really park, and just go sit at Dolan's Bar. Great food, great drinks, great times.
Watch the game.
Quizzo, remember, watch the game there. It is a bunch of good Phillies fans. It's always a good time at Dolan's. Tell PJ, or Tan Man as we call him right in this picture, because that's his picture from TV. It came out real tan. But now PJ's the man. Check it out. Go to Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, really park.
Yeah, you might even see was it SPG there.
PSG.
PSG. I always get his initials messed up.
Sorry.
I'm a sports guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
my man Jamie. But yeah. So this is the one diamond part of the show. Will the Sixers require? And it looks like Dame does not want to come here. He at the top of this is Miami. And look, for the Sixer fans, I get that. Look, you got to look at it from the guy's point of view. You go look at the big scheme of things. Why would you want to go play with Embiid? You're not sure if he's going to show up in the playoffs. When you look down South Beach, when you got a guy like Jimmy Butler who's hungry, and he's missing is that one counterpartner to get him over the hump.
Ain't Butler a free agent?
No,
Yeah,
nothing.
he got some. Yeah, or this is his last year. I think. I
I
think this is his last year.
This would make sense for Dame to pull that trigger. Again, he's a veteran player himself, so this would put him. Let him at least get one. So with that going on, again, you can't. And to be honest, I don't want Dame. If it's going to cost me Maxey, I don't want him. I get it. You want to get over the hump and you want to get that that rock with Embiid, but I'm not too sure if Embiid shows up and play all time. I mean, this is going to be his third coach underneath the Embiid era. So
They're not going to be able to afford Dame Lillard, even if you trade.
Yeah,
Maxey.
because you're going to have to sign Maxey anyway. This is his last year of his contract.
You would have to sign Maxey to an extension, all right, which is going to push your salary cap up against it, and then you got to ship him away, and for what? Like, dude, just don't even worry about that.
No,
And I'm just saying he's calling this
Thank you.
unpopular, but I don't know.
It's not unpopular times because that's who I want.
I'd rather trade Zach LaVine and keep Maxey.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Because here's my thing:
That's who I want. I think Zach LaVine on this Sixers team would help out a great deal more than you trying to package everything up and go get Dame Lillard. And I
totally agree.
I love Dame Lillard.
But what tells Dives? Maybe he can answer this too. But like, what tells anybody that Dame Lillard is going to be that piece that gets us over the hump?
Nothing.
I was so happy that the Wizards and the Suns made that deal for Beal, and it was just not even a conversation. I was afraid of that. I was really afraid of.
See, I like Bradley Beal.
I
But again,
here's a guy who's injured all the time. Who has? I mean, look how bad we complain about Tobias Harris's contract. Could you imagine if we got stuck with his? It's like upping it plus adding another 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have. But here's the thing: like you said, if they are going to trade Tobias Harris, then I would expect them to get somebody back like a Zach LaVine for him, and it would work. I think it would.
Yeah, and
because then you would have somebody because Zach can go Tobias for Butler, exploring both expiring contracts. Yeah, I don't think Miami would do that.
No, they're not going to.
I mean, if they did, I think the Sixers would have already explored that option.
I mean, unless let me just throw this out there with the Dame Lillard talk. Of course, Miami keeps coming in there, and of course, Miami looks good, because it's Miami. He's young, and they have great tax breaks for guys like that. So it's just
they got chicks walking in bikinis.
Yeah, I mean,
like I would go there too.
Yeah,
like,
and the tax break on top just makes it even
Philly
better.
Philly in February or Miami in February.
Yeah. Gee, let me think. Yeah,
let me think.
Yeah, let me think about that. But no, I mean, let me ask this question: if Dame Lillard went there, would they have room or be able to keep Jimmy Butler in there?
I don't know. I don't know their salary situation. That might be a question for Dimes to answer. But if they couldn't, I would love. Joe says, "I'm hoping we can get involved." Mike agreed. LaVine would be ideal, and I do. I would love Zach LaVine on the Sixers.
The Sixers literally have 0 wings. Sadly, they aren't ready for Dane, and they don't have the resource or development. Yeah, to surround the team to contend. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, like I said, even though some Sixers fans want Damian Lillard, and I mean, listen,
and I
you remember
who doesn't want? He's a big superstar free agent.
Did you remember when they came here? I think it was earlier this year. The whole Wachovia Center or Wells Fargo Center was going nuts, chanting his name and everything else. And I remember him saying after the game, he was like, "Wow," he's like, he goes, "I always had a kind of an off negative feel about this place." He goes, "But for them to show me love," he's like, "and I'm a visiting player." I think it was last season.
Yeah.
It was all right. Maybe it was this past season. So, he said, Steve says, for 5 years too late for Dame time. I don't
think you're too late.
Sixers get LaVine and Powell. Chicago gets Tobias plus 2 more expiring contracts. 3 first. Clippers get Harden and Caruso. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Let's do the
deal. If I can get Harden out of here,
talk about not having a first round pick for another 3 or 4 years after this.
I don't care.
I mean,
at least with these guys here, but you're freeing up so much cap space, though.
You are.
Like the Sixers can go back out and really start going hunting really after next year. So,
yeah, Miss Dives is
sign me the F up, Joe.
Here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would rather see them pull that trade and get a guy like Zach LaVine in here because Zach LaVine's not going to go away in the playoffs. Like he single-handedly a couple of years ago took that Bulls team by the hand and was and keeping them in games. I mean, they just ran up against a better team.
I mean, he's an average 24 points this year.
What do you guys think about Patrick Beverly coming back in here? Coming here, rather.
That's just
under the Nick Nurse system. I mean, I get it.
34-year-old.
So, he's going to run. He'll get some time unless he does something stupid and gets suspended.
He averages 7 points a game.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that as a big time.
Yeah, that's the filler.
Yep.
So Zach LaVine, I'm looking at his contract right now. So this is where he has a player option in 26-27. So we would have him this year, next year, and the year after. But it's 40, 43,000, and 46,000 contract. So yeah, this would guys just put this in perspective. Every year we talk about what can we do, what can we do, what can we do.
And you got your point guard.
Yeah, but my point is, this is it. I don't think you have another chips to push in after this. If you do that deal, which I don't think anybody would say no to that, Joe Sullivan. But this is it. You got nothing left. After that, you would have to trade. You would have to trade Joel Embiid.
Yeah. Like, listen, you already know where I stand with him at. So
and
I wanted him traded in February.
And this is again. To me, it sucks because again, your 2 guys you relied on who carried you through the regular season, had a great regular season. You beat up on a Nets team, you swept them, and again, it was over fool's gold. I mean, where were you in Boston in 6 and 7? I mean,
listen, they had the lead in Game 6 here. They had the lead. They gave up the lead. They disappeared from the last 4 minutes of the game 6, and all of Game 7. I'm sorry, but
if you want to call me crazy for being in the Mike canoe, so be it. But I mean, I'm ready to
Mike
move
is in
on.
your canoe.
Oh, right behind him.
Always kind of getting somewhere.
So, I mean, I'm ready to move on from JoJo. I'm sorry. I get he's the reigning MVP.
But you won't get nothing for him. Like,
No.
this is the most asinine comment I always get from people on this network.
They say we won't get anything.
We won't get nothing. We won't get near the return. I was like, what are you talking? He's the reigning MVP.
Listen,
like, this is talk. This is what I mean. Talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Listen,
and I'm good for that.
Unless they're saying it wrong, I can understand if you think you're not going to get as much as you should, which could possibly happen because what happens when somebody wants out, you're not going to overpay for them.
Right.
Unless there's a bidding war. It's all about it. It's business, baby. And if there's 5 teams that want him, oh yeah, you're going to get Kings Random. If there's 2 teams, it might be a little bit more difficult. But unless there's just no team, but somebody's going to want Embiid. How many teams do you think could sit there, like, out of the 30 NBA teams sit there going, if we add Joel Embiid without losing too many of our big-time stars, we would put us in championship discussion. I think that's almost any team in the NBA. Any team.
Yeah.
You
don't think Miami would jump on that? You don't think Phoenix would try to get him out there? Okay, the Lakers?
And this is what I was about to say, Joe. I agree with you. So remember I just said you're pushing all your chips in right now. If you go do this, you pull off that trade for Zach LaVine that Joe laid out there, and no matter what, these next 2 years are going to be it anyway for Joe.
Right. But that's my issue. This is why I say you got to try to trade him now because he's worth something now. 1 or 2 more years, dude, that could be 4 or 6 more injuries from now.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I understand what Joe's trying to say. Yeah, you run it back, you try to maximize what you can get out of him. But the problem is, if you do that, then you minimize what you get back trying to get him.
And I'm sorry, but I want to agree too, Mike, to piggyback off you. I mean, I feel like I've seen enough from Joe. Like, great regular season player, great, you got the MVP, all that stuff. But you flopped. You were MIA in playoff time. When it mattered against Boston. When it matters, second round, everyone told you this is again. We all this is it. If he can't climb it, we're out. Well, guess what? He didn't climb it.
Steve brings up a point here. He says, "Can't move on from JoJo. People have Barkley PTSD. PTSD. Well, here's the problem. Barkley was on a team that stunk. Okay, and he was the only player.
Right.
They weren't doing.
They weren't doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like this.
Joe Sullivan says, "Who cares at this point? It's the process to."
Well, that's it. Like I either way at this point, just do something.
Yeah,
don't do nothing. That's my problem. That's what I was worried about, was that nothing was going to happen.
To go back to answer Dives' question to who's going to win the first out of these 2 winner teams, I'm going to say Flyers now.
No, I'm not going to go either because.
If you had to pick one,
none of them will ever win a championship again, according to Mike Laura.
The Wings
go Flyers 2-3 years.
The Wings. Our cross team will win a championship in that building before the Sixers and the Flyers do. And that's not taking a shot at the Flyers because I think, like Al said, they're building in the right direction.
Well,
the Sixers right now are just in limbo for me. Like they got to get. Well,
that's the problem. They can't get out of limbo.
Them and the Flyers. They're stuck in
James Harden moving on, and honestly, I don't think it's going to happen.
You think he's really going to be here? I don't.
I don't know. I just have the sinking feeling that nobody's going to get. He's not going to get anything offer really from where he wants to go, and he can put his foot in the sand like I ain't moving, and then we're stuck with him for 36
Well, he don't have a no trade clause. Once he accepted that option, the Sixers can send him anywhere.
Yeah, but it's Daryl Morey is the one.
Doesn't matter. Like Daryl Morey's job is.
But who's going to trade for him if he's going to be a curmudgeon?
Well, that's their problem to worry about after we send him there. They can cut him.
Hey, Joe Sullivan, this will be. You could say this about any time in the Sixers organization for the last decade or more. The Sixers will still win if they make the correct moves. When have they made the correct moves? That will be my question.
That's again, it's just the people in charge over there.
That'll be on the epitaph of the Sixers process 1.0.
I just if it ain't the perimeter shooting, the 3-point shooting, it's something else. And again, the easy route was to get rid of Doc. I understand that. Okay, I'm all for the head coaching change, and everyone's talks about Doc's flaws and all this stuff. To me, this wasn't on Doc though. This was on your two major superstars not show up in the second round.
Yeah, sooner or later, the players got to stand up and take
And again,
account.
this is going to be your third head coach under the Embiid regime. And I get it, Brett Brown, goofball, I understand, but still, I mean, what's different from Nick Nurse? I get he's a guy.
It's style.
I get it. He's a kicking the ass coach, and I get all that.
Two coaches who are definitely players coaches who are
But Nurse will hold them accountable.
Well, I think Dime said there's zero excuses. You can't blame Ben Simmons. You can't blame James Harden.
Neither one of them are going to be
here. You're the best. You're the MVP of the league in the regular season last year.
When it comes down to it,
where did Shake go? I heard Shake.
No, he's on the free agent mark. Him and Bang Jordan Yang, both are going to be hitting the free agent market. So, but yeah, like I said, it's. In sports, the first two people to get blamed for when a team goes south is this coach and the superstar. And he's the superstar. He is the nucleus to this team. And again, him not showing up just drags everything down.
Listen, I feel the only person I never Paul Pierce, Chris Webber, Moses, Trey Doherty, etc. Yeah, I hear you on that one, Joe. But the thing that gets me, honestly, is that you're looking at this Sixers. What's killing me about the Sixers organization is that there's a culture now in place. I don't know if Nurse is going to be able to change that culture or not, but as far as playing wise, like everybody wanted to kill Toby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Toby was one of the guys who literally played. Like he showed up. He had one bad game in that Boston series. One. He had one bad game where he didn't score much. Other than that,
there was times he got a little disappear act on us.
Yeah, but I mean,
times. But hold on 1 second. Yeah. Everybody has it, and I know where you're going to go. My point is, I'm not blaming one direct person. I'm blaming the culture, and hear me out on this. It is hard to be a role player when you don't know what your role is. Okay, and this isn't just Toby. This is Tobias. This is Maxey. This is all PJ. Like, I think PJ found his role when he started yelling at Embiid and getting in James's face a little bit in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. I don't know if he was like nobody ever said like I kept saying, okay, Tobias Harris, catch and shoot. All right, cool. That's what you're gonna do. And then they stop. And then it's and then you're Embiid and Harden. You're like, it's our game. This is our game. This is our team. We're the leaders of this team. And they don't show up. Mm-hmm. So then you expect Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker to be the leaders of this team. That's not going to happen.
No, that's what
Game 6, they lost because they stopped. And Game 7 should have never happened. And that's why they went into Game 7 lackluster.
Listen, Game 7, when they lost Game 6 here, after that, I was like, they're done. They're not going to Boston and winning Game 7. There was just no, I'm sorry. To me, it's, and I feel bad for Tobias Harris because he looks at it like this.
I agree with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with this wholeheartedly. That's why I'm saying, if they can listen, if you can get Zach LaVine in here
to go along with him,
yeah,
that's
and you know what? Here's my thing: is you still have Zach LaVine for a couple years after. If say for whatever reason this thing happens again, round 2 and we're out again, and Embiid wants out, and you can go get some. You can get some key players. You're not going to the basement again. You're not in the basement again. There could still be hope for you, but I don't know.
But in the same breath, though, I'm with Mike. Get Embiid out now while he's healthy. Why again? This is one of his best years of playing healthy. You don't want to play him if he gets another injury. Then that lowers the value.
I know it's going to be, and I'm telling you, it's going to be bad when he breaks his face for the third time. Okay, or he has a bad ankle roll or breaks an ankle or a knee, and this dude's going to be out. And then the Sixers are going to be stuck with him. This is what's going to happen. It's not going to be one or the other. It's not going to be he's going to want to trade or anything like it. He may want to trade, but it's going to come after, we had our chances to get something decent for him. And that's where I think it could put the Sixers back.
And if this if this trade deal doesn't work out between Dame and Miami, well, guess what? Jimmy Butler is pretty tight with Embiid. Go down there and get the best value you can off their team.
Sixers don't have enough to get.
No,
Butler.
but no, not Butler. Have him go team up with Butler, but bring a whole back from Miami.
Guys,
Yeah.
we might be doing, we need to talk about this off the air.
Yeah, definitely. So, but
I
anyway,
don't know about that. I don't know what the watch parties were.
Oh,
but,
it's where Pat watches people from their window while eating a hot dog slowly. It's really creepy, but it's hilarious at the same time.
yeah. You haven't seen America's Funniest Home Videos, have you?
You know, he takes the first 7 minutes of sniffing the hot dog before he actually takes a bite. It's really weird.
Yes. Blindfolded.
Wow.
But anyway,
He puts the mustard on his chest, not on the hot dog. It's
guess where I put the ketchup? Well, I
Yeah.
can't tell you. But anyway, guys, I want you guys to enjoy your 4th of July.
Whoa,
What's up, buddy? What's going on?
Back the truck up.
All right, I'll get.
We got more bills.
We know it's not just bills. We got
So-
something. We got a couple of things we got to hit on here. But number
All
one,
right, lay it out.
number one, this is this week's lineup, which I'm sure you're like, I missed most of it. Now it's Sunday. Yeah, if you did, because you can get it all podcasted and check out wherever you get your podcast. That most of this has been on podcast except for the Titans finals. And also on our YouTube page, as well as the website, eopsports.com. You can see it right there at the bottom of the page. But Sunday, I'm missing a couple things because we added it in later, but the Sunday is far, far, far from over. At noon, the wrestling guys are back for our new wrestling show, The Steel Steps, on Friday at 10, but they will have a post Money in the Bank. It was a big event. So at noon, you will see you'll see the Steel Steps guys talking Money in the Bank results that happened last night. Also, you'll have the Union doing a post-game show because it's their first primetime game.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be later tonight. It'll be between them and those two shows. There'll be me on the Titans finals for this Nationals wrap-up. And, of course, at
9.
At 9, I forgot to change that to this is 11 a.m. At 9, all across all the time, we'll be back. So still plenty to go, and we have plenty for the
Action-packed
4th.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Spice Network.
Oh, God.
Remember the Spice Network with Loaded with Action?
I would say less scrambled, but then after you said that, I think it's more scrambled. But also, we will have next week will be action-packed as well, as I mentioned, dives, and then we'll bring back the Sixers post-game with the Summer League stuff. There'll be plenty of stuff to talk about. Even the 4th of July, we'll have stuff. It's going to be nonstop here, as always at EOP. But asking you this question, I mean, this is the question. We ask this every Sunday. What do you eat? But let's forget Sunday. Let's talk Tuesday. Let's talk 4th of July.
Oh,
It's you gotta be Pat's holiday of holidays.
yes.
You know, it's when you throw meat
Wrap
on the
up
grill.
all the wieners
Yes.
between your buns.
See, Pat goes to Dollar Dog Night to practice for 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And Wednesday nights.
Yes.
And Saturdays.
And Saturdays.
It's a 24-hour thing.
But
So what are you making Tuesday night?
Yeah,
Or do we have to call Mo and find out what she's doing?
Well, you don't want me burned down the house. But
are you doing a barbecue on Tuesday?
yes, we are.
Are you doing one at home or are you going somewhere? Are you
I'm
out?
going to my wife's cousin's house.
All right. So what's going to be on Pat's plate or plates? If I have to ask,
Well,
do they just give you like a
We
serving
ain't got
tray?
that much time.
Do
Al.
they just give
it's
you,
going to be another hour.
yeah. Do they give you a serving tray instead of a plate nowadays?
Well, when your in-laws tell you, no, you have to be the last one to go, intakes that you take in a lot of food.
I feel like Pat's like the dog that they have on the leash. They're just like
Yes.
people holding the leash back.
Yes. Yes.
Time to go. Let him go.
The Red Rocket's out and everything. So as soon as they let the dog
That's
off,
why they keep him away from the potato salad.
yeah. So yeah, but the first move you gotta go. You have to you go to the grill, you get your hot dog, you get your burger, and then you gotta slide over. You
throw them down your throat while you're sliding over getting the potato salad.
yes,
Can I have a cheeseburger to hold me over to get the next thing on my plate?
you gotta eat while you're in line. But yeah, I go right. You go baked beans, potato salad, and then I go right to the macaroni and
Your
cheese.
toilet's hurting. Your toilet's hurting.
Right, it was on speed dial, my friend.
Oh man, just those 3 things alone.
Imagine what comes out the backside. But yeah,
Slide.
Yeah.
but yeah, like I say, I rack up, and then I buy maybe like 3 to 4 plates in, and then I'll start hitting the desserts.
Get 3 to 4 plates in.
And
And
I'll
here's the
start
thing,
at dessert.
like, listen, me and Al could look at these 3 to 4 plates and we'll gain 10 to 15 pounds. Pat will eat it and get nothing.
And spend time in a hospital. You know what I mean? Like, I hate you, Pat, for many reasons, but that's one of them.
Yes.
So what are you doing?
This year, it's always been like where I'm from, Clifton Heights. It's 4th of July is a huge thing. It's a small town, but like fireworks are a thing. Actually, I'll be working the music for the fireworks at Clifton Field. If you're up there, come say hi to me. But I would be doing your basic barbecue stuff, but I always put hot sausage on the grill because it's better on the grill. And the typical potato salad, but I'm a deviled egg guy. I don't know. I feel like
Deviled egg is a very
I think it's like a hate or
item.
love type thing. There's like no in between.
Love 'em.
And broccoli salad. Hold on, I know you're like, what is that? It's weird, but it's very good. It's got bacon in it, so it's got to be good.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I look forward.
I don't know
look
where.
forward to
I don't.
that.
I don't know what I'm doing on 4th of July yet. I might be sleeping.
I might be at Al's house. He's like,
I might be over at Al's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure
honestly.
my parents won't care. It's actually at my parents' house, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
like it's no. I mean, it is my favorite holiday for that reason. It's just, and the Phillies usually play, except for last year.
They're not playing this year.
Are they not playing this year?
No, yeah, they are. They're playing against Tampa.
I was going to say
4 o'clock game.
That's right. That's right.
I was
No,
gonna
it was
say,
last year. Yeah, last year.
You scared me for a second.
No, it was
This year
Memorial
was
Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Tampa like at 4.
Yes, they. Is it a 4 o'clock? Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday at 4:10. Yeah,
Nice.
that's not terrible because it's before the fireworks.
They'll be done by 7.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be stuffed. You'll be laid back on the couch, and all you got to do is kick your feet up, and man.
If Pat has that post-game show, he might be a little late.
Yeah, like Tuesday, like Wednesday.
Yeah, he's busting out the in-laws toilet. Sorry,
But yeah.
if you guys are getting a new toilet for Christmas,
So does Ranger Suarez have the Phillies win the series today, guys?
I like Ranger today. I think he goes 7. I think he goes 7 strong innings. I think he gives up no more than 2.
I'd say he goes 8.
You say he goes 8?
I cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
all
been,
right. He's been that good, but I think he gets up less, either 2 or less, and I think he gets like 7 to 10 Ks today.
Really?
Yes, I think he has a real dominant performance today, and I like the Phillies. I'll say I'll go a little shy from what they did. I'll say 5-2 Phillies.
Yeah, Mike, you just stole the prediction around my head. I think Alec Bohm continues to light up these Nationals.
Captain Caveman hits a 3-runner today.
Really? I think that's going to be
are you
bomb.
guys afraid it's going to be a low-scoring 3-1 type game?
No, I said 5-2.
5.
I don't see that lineup really getting the Ranger. I don't.
I don't see the lineup. That's where I'm getting the 1 from. But like, do you see the Phillies coming out after putting up that kind of game and not having a colder offensive game?
No,
I don't think they're going to be.
Go, you guys told me don't believe in it. I'm going to go believing into the stats where Trevor Williams will be giving up tons of home runs to this offense. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 5 to 6 run game for your Phillies. 5 to 6. Yeah, 5-2, 6-2.
Well,
Phillies win.
Hello, Mush.
Oh, hello. Welcome back.
So, well, guys, for Big Al Safiri, Patrick Bernard.
Hello.
I'm Mike Laurel. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you.